it's Kaleid Cosplay, and we're back again with another video.
Today we're going to be giving you some pre-con advice. So this is not advice typically for the convention, it's for the planning beforehand. Advice number one, and the most important, is make sure that you actually get sleep, because no one wants to be dealing with your grumpy ass. And it does not bode well when you have a photo shoot the next day and you have gotten no sleep whatsoever.
This isn't even just at the con. This is like pre-con lead up. Like, do not stay up all night the week before the convention just trying to get your cosplays done. I cannot stress it enough. I have done it. I've sewed at the convention. I've sewed before the convention. Like, just plan your cosplays in advance. You'll be so much more relaxed. This leads into our other point. Don't sew all of your cosplays the night before the convention. I leave a lot of my detailing and a lot of my sewing in general the night before the convention or the night before the night of the convention, and then I don't end up sleeping. I end up rushing through the sewing. I don't do enough detail work that I'm proud of. Honestly, like this year, my New Year's resolution in terms of my sewing is to stop doing that because I want to do better detail work, etc. So just don't sew the night before. Like, get some sleep. Go to bed.
Continuing on that point, you did not buy your tickets for the con to sit in the hotel room doing your sewing. If you look at our Anime North vlogs, we spent way too much time in the hotel room doing random crap when we could have been enjoying the actual convention we paid all the money and tickets for.
This leads into point number 4, which is book your hotel and buy your tickets in advance. In past years, we've waited like a week or 2 weeks to book our hotel before the convention, and rooms sell out fast. The con prices are gone because everybody's like used them up, and you end up paying an exorbitantly high amount for something that you could have paid less for. So just book your hotel in advance and then you're less stressed. On top of that, when it comes to booking tickets, a lot of conventions will have early bird prices, so you end up saving at least $10 to $20 just on the early bird prices, depending on the convention.
Point number 5, at least I think, because I'm not really counting. Research your hotel in advance. So this can be in regards to so many things, but for example, at Con Bravo, we booked with the Mohawk College, and it was great, but they said that they were providing like all the stuff to cook with. And if you go watch our vlogs, we had to like eat with giant utensils because they didn't give us like forks and knives and stuff. They just gave us pots and pans.
A lot of regular hotels will provide microwaves, like a small kitchenette area, even though like they won't have the oven or whatever, but they'll have a counter. So this can really like change the way that you end up packing, what food you bring, etc., etc. Just figure out what they have in the hotel, what they're offering. Also, when booking your hotel, consider the distance to the convention, what cosplays you're going to be wearing, and how close it is to different food chains. Like, you might prefer to eat at Boston Pizza, so you might want to get a hotel that's right next to Boston Pizza, or you might want to get sushi. So just take a look at what's around you and see if you need to bring food, if you want to just go eat there, etc.
And on top of that, when considering your cosplays and the distance, for example, at our last Anime North, we were about a 10-15 minute walk from the convention, but it wasn't too bad because we weren't wearing super intensive cosplays for most of it. But this year we plan on like switching outfits, so we needed to book somewhere closer to the convention so we wouldn't have to spend all this time walking across the windy bridge and messing up our wigs.
Especially if you're using heels or cosplays that have like really weird footwear that isn't very comfortable to walk in and you only want to be in them for like an hour or so. It's really important to book a hotel that's probably closer to the convention because then you won't feel like you're spending all this time pointlessly walking. You'll be closer, you'll be more comfortable. It just works out better.
Try to plan your meals in advance. I know this is a lot to ask and a lot of people don't even think about foods at the cons, but I think one mistake we made with our food planning last year was we brought a lot of snacking food and not a lot of meals, so we ended up spending more money than we probably should have getting food delivered in or going out to eat. But if you plan in advance, like, okay, here's the breakfast foods, here's like lunchtime things that we can eat, here's snacks at the convention, and maybe like plan 1 or 2 times to go out and eat, it will go a lot better for your budget.
Especially if you have a microwave in your hotel room, you can make like stir fries, soups, chili, spaghetti, stuff that's easily like easily reheatable, so you can just throw it in the microwave and bam, you've got a meal, and it's sustainable, it's nutritious, and you'll be so much more energized for the day.
But make sure that you have a microwave, because we didn't have one last time.
Yeah.
And that did not go well because we planned our food to have a microwave.
Yeah. Our next point is to be very careful in planning your lineup and to take particular attention to the smaller details. One thing we've noticed with ourselves as well as other cosplayers is that they make their more comfortable cosplays during the day, and then their more intense cosplays at night or in the afternoon. And that can end up being a bit of a difficulty, because you're so comfortable during the day and then you're doing your uncomfortable cosplay at night, when really you want to be doing your uncomfortable cosplay during the day and then your more comfortable cosplay come the evening, because you start to get tired as the day goes on.
So it's nice to be able to switch out of heels into slippers, as opposed to going from being in your slippers all day and then being like, oh great, now I have to put on 5-inch heels.
Another thing to take into consideration is makeup. We had a convention where Kira had to wear a full face makeup for Shigo. And had she had to go from full face makeup to something that was less makeup, it's kind of difficult to do that, because if you can't remove all your makeup right away, for example, Shigo, it kind of takes a day and a bit in order for her to remove all of the makeup without irritating her skin. So what we would have done is had the cosplay that required less makeup and then came back, removed that makeup, and put on Shigo makeup. And that ends up being a little bit better, because at least if you don't remove all of the makeup by the evening, you have the following morning to go and just get everything that you missed.
Next point would be to research the weather at the convention, especially if you're going somewhere different. We're going to be going to YetiCon this year, which is further north than we are, so I'm not sure. We have to figure out if it's going to be much cooler, whatever. But I had the terrible experience cosplaying Shiro from Dead Man Wonderland, in which I basically lost my wig because it was a really windy day, and of course that's the day I chose to wear my really long wig, and it just got totally screwed up. We've
seen a lot of cosplayers and people who talk about packing to pack lighter, and while that's probably true for people coming out of town into the convention, for our experience specifically, we found packing heavier can be better, especially for a local convention. It's better to have too much than not enough, is what I've experienced. Now, when it comes to packing your face supplies, shampoo, conditioner, all that kind of stuff, going and getting travel sizes is definitely recommended, but when it comes to your cosplay items, your clothes, etc., I always pack heavier just to be on the safe side, because you never know what the weather's going to be like or what's going to happen at the convention. Also, bringing spares to things, or things like cleaners and stuff like that, stain removers, it's always good to have. So I just say packing heavier is a little bit better than packing lighter. That's just my personal opinion.
On the topic of packing, create a packing list, because you're going to forget stuff. You might lose something under the bed or whatever if you're not specifically looking for it. And again, you might forget things when you're packing to bring to the con. Make a list of everything you need for each cosplay and all the miscellaneous stuff you need. Check it when you're going there, and then check it when you're going back.
For my first couple conventions, I always said, oh yeah, I'll remember that, it's fine. And then I'd get to Kira's or something like that, and I'd be like, well, I forgot this. Well, now I'm screwed. So always just make a list, and I suggest making it at least a week to 2 weeks before the convention, as she said. That way you're not forgetting details, and if you do forget some, you can go in and add it as you're getting closer to the convention so that you don't forget those items.
Like the one time I forgot my Elia scarf.
So our last point is to make sure you're always prepared for setbacks, because there is never a convention that goes by without something going wrong or something not happening the way you intended for it to go.
If you have plans that depend on other people, this is going to sound bad, but just assume the worst. Assume that they're not going to show up, something will happen, because you can control yourself and your actions. You have no control over anyone else, even if it's a significant other or a best friend or whatever.
Make sure if you're coming from out of town that you have a backup plan for your rides if the person who's supposed to be driving ends up canceling. Make sure you set some money aside in case you need to take other means of transportation, or you need to bring extra food, or some of your food goes bad. There's endless things that can go wrong at a convention, so make sure you have a contingency plan set aside.
And if things go wrong, don't think it's the end of the world. It's gonna happen, and don't let it ruin your con. You've been looking forward to this, if you're Jess, since the day after the last con finished. So try not to get too worked up over setbacks. It's gonna happen. everything's gonna be okay. Assuming the convention hall doesn't catch fire or something.
Yeah. So that's it for today's video. If you liked it, please feel free to thumbs up and subscribe down below. We'd love to hear what you think about it, and if you'd like us to continue these kinds of chit-chat videos, let us know.
And send this video to your con buddies. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but send it to your con buddies. We're running out of battery. We gotta go.
Bye, guys!
Bye!